Hello, good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast Club. My name is Fungai Mawada, and today I am joined by the multi-talented Nonkanyiso Mabaleka. And when I say multi-talented, I certainly mean that you can Google her yourself and see what I mean by that. But of course, today we are talking about making a change in society. So good morning, Nonkanyiso, and thank you so much for coming to the Breakfast Club.
Thank you so much for that.
All right, maybe for those who are seeing you for the first time or listening to you for the first time, tell us, who is Nonkanyiso Mabaleka?
Right, Nonkanyiso Mabaleka, in brief, like you've already mentioned, I am a singer, songwriter, actress, and a writer. I'm a script writer, I'm a model. I am also the founder and director of Onka Productions. Okay, so that's what I do in brief. Nonkanyiso Mabaleka, somewhat free-spirited, a bit of an introvert, lover of life, and like you said, yes, somebody who wants to see a change in society. I love, I've got a heart for the youth, I've got a heart for women, I've got a heart for my country, you know, my city, and yeah, that's the kind of artist I am.
All right, so maybe just to take it back a bit, tell us about your upbringing. What is your upbringing like?
You know, there's so many, so many little
facets.
Yeah. I am number 4 out of 5 girls in my family. What can I say about us growing up? We were the first black people to move to Douglasdale. I was surrounded by white people.
That must be fascinating.
Not really, because, okay, no, it was actually, no, come to think of it. Because now when I think of the neighbors, I think of this one neighbor who used to come on horseback to the shop that we had next to our house, and my cousin used to run it, and he'd come on horseback. That's the guy who taught me to eat amatemba straight from the packet. Yes,
okay.
This white guy.
All right. Okay.
And he used to come with his pet monkey as well. He had a pet monkey. Yeah, so yes, it was interesting. Yeah, and we used to get milk from down the road as well. Yeah, so we had that. Mabaleka was good education. He was one of the founders of Tennis and Tlabangana, the high school. Yeah, and then of course my mom was also in education as well, but more in the primary school, you know. And yeah, if people know Mabaleka wemzingwane, you know, then he became an education officer, so brought up by these educationists. So you can be sure education was one of those things that you had to do, you know. So artist.
Oh yes, and how did that?
Just first of all, get a proper degree. You know, kind of thing. So yeah, that's why it took quite a while for my artistic side to for me to actually recognize that, you know what, I am full-on creative.
Okay, so when did you come to that realization that you're full-on creative, and also how did your family then accept your creative side as well, especially coming from a family that's focused on education, like you rightfully said?
First of all, they knew it was there. Because from nursery school, I was already, we call it the beep beep. You know, these melodicas, right? So I was already playing that. I was already making up my own tunes. I used to suck my thumb, and I made up my own little song that I used to suck my thumb to, right? My 6th birthday, I actually played, I played an instrument for the kids at nursery school, right? So it was already there. I used to write songs for my friends in primary school. I was always on stage, so it was there. But of course, yeah, it's one of these things that she does. Maybe she'll grow out of it or whatever. But no, we're not going to let her go into it. Why? Because drug abuse and, you know, these things.
Which musician is successful?
Yes, in Zimbabwe as well.
Especially, yes.
So even I was afraid. And I remember when I was in high school, my A-levels, my form teacher actually told my dad, this one needs to go and do theatre arts, because I started a drama club and everything, you know. This one needs to do theatre arts. But then I was like, so in Zimbabwe, some didn't go MCC and whatnot, and you know, I'm like, no. So at that time, because they had that assistance from my teacher, I remember my sister was in East London. She says, okay, come to a university here. But even I wasn't sure. So instead of going and doing my arts, I found myself doing computer science, thinking, no, but I can't do this degree because I'm going to end up sitting behind a desk. I didn't want that. I was so afraid of that, And so, yes, they had me doing computer science. And I then thought, there's beauty therapy. Let me go and do that. And I did do my beauty therapy eventually. It took me 3 years to convince them. I did that. Found myself on cruise ships as well. Worked there for a long time. On cruise ships, though, during my last few years, I found myself on stage, both for the crew and our guests. And they loved me.
And you loved it.
And I loved it. And I'm thinking, but okay, why am I doing this? This is what I want to do. So eventually I found myself back in Zimbabwe. I hadn't planned to come back, actually, 2014. I came back from Sierra Leone at that time. I'd left the ships. Sierra Leone, there's Ebola, forces me back. I'm back with nothing in my pocket. Okay, right, so what do we do? I'm running around. I was promised I'd go. That time there was the diamond bread thingy, jobs, processing, and whatnots. I thought, maybe I'm going to get a job there. Didn't get a job there. And I'm like, okay, Lord, what are you saying? And the Lord spoke. Your talent. Your talent. Over and over again. Even pastors on TV. I'd be sitting in front of the TV and the pastor would be like, hey, your talent. I'm like, okay, all right, okay. Following Sunday, your talent. I'm like, okay, Lord, I hear you. It's time, right? So that was around 2015, 2016. And by that time, I'm thinking, okay, this is what I'm going to do. In fact, a friend of mine as well said, Nonka, why don't you just pursue your music? And then linked me with Afroball Marova in Harare. So there I was going off to Harare to Afroball Marova, and I'm not telling people where I'm going.
You just packed and left.
I said, I'm going to Harare, I'm going to see what to do. And remember, I'm still trying to find a job and stuff.
Yes.
So I'm in Harare and I'm like, So we're working on my voice and we're working on my guitar playing and everything, and that's when I wrote my first single. But now, during the time I was on ships, I had worked with these young guys. They call themselves Channers. And we recorded Makoti and Freedom. If you dig, you'll find them. I think I may have maybe 1 or 2 on SoundCloud if I haven't removed them. Because then we were not fine-tuning anything.
I'm singing because I love it.
We're singing, we're loving it, and we've recorded, but it needed to be mixed and mastered properly. But yes, I did try. There were times when I could have sung with a band, but I wasn't ready. But yeah, so this is how we got to where we are now.
Oh, wow. And I must say, it's an incredible thing just reading about you. And so what you've essentially done with your career in that space, you said from 2015 when you recorded your first single and to where you are now. So then we now have the birth of Onka Productions. Tell us about that.
This thing are just pushing. Onka Productions. Okay. Actually, the name Onka, I remember I was in a friend's flat in Harare during those years when I was trying to find myself. Yes, and I was thinking, one day just have a company, and I was thinking Onka. If you see my logo, you'll find the N there. So actually, I took Nonka. Took the N, put it, and I was going to be a silent N. I'm going to put it at the back, and then I'm going to put Onka at the front, So, okay, started with that. That's where I came up with that name first. Then, now, recorded the single, but I am an actress, and I'm not going to leave my acting. Okay, I went crazy. There were auditions. I went for all these auditions. So that was through 2016 and so on and so forth. And out of the 5 auditions I went to the one time, I got into all 4, and I didn't get the one that the Harare job. And I'm like, okay. But anyway, got into all of that. Then come the next year, I'm like, more auditions. But what if? And I started writing as well, scripts. I started writing again, okay. And then I'm thinking, but You hand in a script, and they don't accept it. They don't take it. It's not produced. Why am I running around asking other people to accept me into their spaces?
When I know that I'm good.
Why don't I create my own space? Why don't I create my own platform? What if I staged my own play? So at that time, I'd written this African folktale, something that my mom used to tell us when we were kids. And I'm thinking, why am I holding on to this and waiting for someone to accept it? Onka Productions. Let's do this. So that's how Onka Productions started. I just decided, why am I running around chasing auditions and whatnot? And then I get in, but then maybe it's a new group and we don't actually get to see or get to perform this play, or it might take another 2 years before it's produced, you know. So I thought, no, do your own thing.
And how has the journey been so far with your own production company? It's totally different, of course, from handing in your work, but then now, when you're now handling all of this, how has that been so far?
Oof. You grow up very fast. You grow fast. You know, first of all, the first thing is people are like, so you just wake up and there's a production company just like that? You think you can do that? You know, I'm like, yeah, I did it. You know, so I did. Someone actually asked me, so you just wake up and you've got a production company? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah. You know, and then you realize,
There's work.
There's a lot of work. Remember, you're doing this with nothing in your pocket.
Zero budget.
Zero budget. So you have to write a proposal. So you're learning how to write a proposal. You're learning how to sell yourself. Hey, getting into a company, talking to directors, you know, and making sure they give you that money. Hey. Yeah. Then you've got the cast. Then you've got the crew. And you have to find the right people to work with you, because at times your ideas are not like what people are actually used to, you know. So, is this thing gonna work? So now trying to help to make people understand that it's new, but we can do this. Let's do it. Let's push and see how far.
Plus the haters along the way, of course.
And the haters along the way.
And then, of course, like, okay, just looking at your journey, we then moved into a phase where COVID-19 came, and I don't know about everybody else, but my life, you know, had a bit of a tumble then, you know, especially for women. You know, people always talk about the impact of COVID-19 on women, whether you look at women in rural areas and the urban areas. It really had a rather strong effect, you know, in how it impacted on women's lives. So how was the impact of COVID-19 on your production company, on you personally as well, to where you are today now?
Do you know what? When they said lockdown, I'd already locked myself down, by the way.
Really? Prior?
Like 2 or so weeks before, because I've got chest issues, auntie, you know, somewhat asthmatic. So now, I don't know what had happened, but I was like, now my chest was closing up, and I'm like, what, you know? But also, I welcomed the lockdown because, do you know what the acting so? When people commit suicide, you know, I took on a role and struggled to shake it off. The role, the character, and my personality were now so interlinked, so intertwined with I couldn't shake her off.
Do you mind telling us about the character?
It was actually I played Ava in Everybody's Talking, and actually I was Ava for a very long time. I loved that play. Oh my goodness. You know, but we started working on that production. It was one of those auditions that I went to, one of those 5. So that was like around 2016, 2017, I think. And we only staged that play in 2018. But we'd worked on it, taken a break, worked on it, taken a break. So I was Ava for a very long time. And she was pretty much, she dominated that play. She was in every scene, I think, apart from one. And I could not shake the girl off. I started to get depressed. Even before we actually took to the stage, I tried to escape and go to Harare, just for a break, and then of course got to Harare, and the things happened there. My friend almost died. He was almost killed. So I carried that for a long time. By the time we were acting, I was sick anyway. I had the flu, so I was taking garlic. I was, really managing myself. After that, I just, I had to sleep. I was trying to rest and all of that, but still had not shaken it off. So when we locked down, I was happy. I put everything else down. And I took to the garden. Oh, I had nice veggies. I had nice veggies. I was busy with my flowers, but I was also speaking to God. Lord, it's been how many years I've been doing this arts thing? It's been how many years I've been doing this? And, so I had a very long heart-to-heart with God, and it helped me a lot. I shook that depression off.
Amazing. And I like how you highlight the issue of mental health. I think it's something that people take very lightly, whether you previously have suffered from it, whether it's depression, anxiety, and the likes. And I feel like particularly people who are within the arts industry, it affects them a lot. Yeah. So how did you manage to shake off that depression? You speak, of course, about God and the likes, but are there things that you do to make sure that you don't get into that state of depression or feeling low or whatever as an artist?
It's difficult, yes.
It is.
Because you don't see yourself sliding. You don't see yourself. Of course, now I can kind of feel, I need to manage myself. Maybe I need to, dance or whatever, listen to some music, because I was listening to music a lot. Trying to think of that song, so that I played over and over again in the garden and sang, and tears running down my face at times. For me, it's my relationship with God. At times, people say, but the church, and at times, the people you think will help you don't actually help. They don't actually help. I think it's reaching out to people who truly, truly understand. And also for you, if you start to identify little things that trigger that depression, identifying how you felt when you were there, is that feeling coming back? Is any of that kind of lingering? And then trying to manage that somehow. It's a difficult one.
Yeah, it is.
It's a very difficult one.
But look at us, we're here today, and that's the fantastic thing. Yeah. Okay, so tell us about the charity Afroball, and of course you're embarking on this journey to end period poverty, which I think is absolutely amazing. I mean, come on. Yes, so please do tell us about it.
Okay. First of all, like I said, I've got a passion for women, young girls. And you know what, this ending period poverty thing is not new, because we were doing this before the COVID thing. Yes, but you see, here's my problem. I was looking at this and thinking, okay, we're buying these disposable pads. Your period doesn't go away after you've given me a packet of pads. It really doesn't. This month. It's there next month. And it's going to be there for the next, I don't know how many years. If it's not, there's a problem. We need to deal with that, So my period must be there. But I don't have a hair, by the way. Do you know when you've been there? I've been there as well, where you're so broke. Remember, I came to Zimbabwe with nothing. And when you don't have a support system, you don't have money. And pads are expensive.
And your period is coming.
Your period is coming.
It doesn't delay because you're broke.
No.
No.
It doesn't care what you're doing. It's there. And it will last a good how many days, And it doesn't give you a break. Okay, she's going to town, she's going to work, or she's going to school, or she's doing whatever. It's there, It's a tough one. So now, disposable pads, no. I had been to a women's prayer group. You know, they invited me. So they were having this tea, and they invited me, and I went and I sang there. And there was this one lady, and she showed us these reusable pads made out of cloth. Okay, interesting. But at that time, I was thinking, okay, what do I do with that? But that is interesting. So you know, when you're like, okay, yeah, interesting. Yes. I'm holding on to this. Yeah, tick. I'm coming back there, you know. And I spoke to this lady, Mrs. Masugu, from my old church, where my family still is. She's Mam Fundisi actually there. And, you know, we're talking about it, and she was quite interested. Years later, she's actually pushing this palesa pads and all. And in fact, Kunapane Church, in fact, my young sister as well was involved. And she was telling me how they are distributing pads to the orphans. And even before COVID lockdown, I'd said to Mrs. Masugu, you know what, I want to do this Afroball thing. But I find it boring to put on a concert just to showcase Nonkanyiso Mabaleka. It's boring. I want to do something. I want that concert to benefit someone. Not just entertain someone, but benefit someone who needs help somewhere, you know. So I was like, yeah, Afroball. And we raise money to buy pads. But not just disposable pads, but we do reusable pads. Now with these pads, they will last that girl 5 years. So I know that when I give her that kit, I don't have to come back, unless I just come back and say, hi, all right. Are you good? I'm not buying another packet of pads. I just make sure she's taking care of her pads nicely. 5 years. That gives her time to go to school, start work, or whatever, you know? She's not thinking about pads. Poverty, we've been there, Shem. It's painful.
It is painful. It's
but
painful.
Yes, but when you've gotten rid of that, it's a good thing. And remember, young girls, you are coming from different types of homes. There might not be auntie or mama that you can speak to and say, you know what, I need pads. Or malume is taking care of you, you know. So, yeah, I just thought, you know what, in period poverty, take care of her. 5 years, she's got her bucket, because this thing, it's a kit, eh?
Okay, yeah.
It's a kit. Comes with your bucket. You know, it comes with a little pouch for each of your pads. It comes with the sepewacha. It comes with the vinegar as well. And we show you how to care, you know, for those pads. You know, it's even got hanger and everything. You wash in that bucket and all, you know. So it's a full kit. Care yako na yonke. You don't have to go and talk to uncle or udedi, because these are the people that are there. You know, or in fact your brother, because maybe that's the person who's left, or who's siswak, or who can't, you know. We don't know what's going on in those homes, but at least I take care of that period. You know?
And you're easing someone's burden essentially at the end of the day. So who are you essentially donating these reusable pads to?
Right. Oh yeah, you had asked me earlier where I'm from and everything. Mama Lojwa. Is from Spezin, right? And then Mabaleka, Tina will say it's Pumentemben, you know, that's the Springs Farm area and all of that, you know. Right now, Usopu, Westlingen, Mabaleka, right? So we are so from that area. So that whole Iskotini area. So that's where I want to start. And of course, I'm not saying that thing, you know, the whole area. So I'm going to work my way through slowly. That's what I'm working on doing. Okay,
absolutely wonderful. And how has been the uptake essentially on the charity Afroball? I've seen, of course, on social media, people are tweeting about it and retweeting. I've seen some of my favorite artists will be performing there, like Rudamo and Mimi Talukwan and yourself. So, like, how are people, like, looking forward to the ball? Are people, like, taking it on, like, oh, okay, we're definitely going to be there?
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of that. I'm hearing a lot of that. And, you know, people are, like you're saying, people are retweeting. There are people are calling. I had someone calling from Harare saying, hey, I need 5 tickets, you know. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm saving 5 tickets for you. Oh, okay, all right, Harare. Okay, all the way from Harare. You're coming down? Yes, we're planning on coming down. So, yeah, people are very interested. I think it's something that's a bit different. You know, just the name itself, Afroball. We haven't had an Afroball, you know. You know, so yeah, I'm excited, and I think there's people who are themselves excited and looking forward to it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And how has the preparation been? I mean, like obviously you have done your Onka Productions, but that's that's theater, that's singing, that's like a performance essentially and stuff like that. This is a whole different game, different game altogether. How has that been for you? What lessons have you learned essentially?
Ish. I can tell you definitely the next one.
There will be a next one. That's great. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Yes.
Yes, there will be a next one, but I've learned a lot. It's not easy. Yeah? It's not easy. Okay, planning. How do I make this different? How do we? You know, the thing is, okay. Also, the Afroball is a celebration of us Africans. You know, and modern Africans. Okay, we're planning African cuisine, you know, all of that, you know. So it's now, how do I make it nice and African? How do I bring in the right kind of people? How do I then make sure I'm making the money for these expensive pads?
Because you said it's $20 a pack for the entire thing.
Excuse me.
Yes.
It's $20 for that kit. You know, so I need to make sure we are fundraising. It's not just a concert. We you know, so okay, how do we make sure we've got something nice and classy, but we're not spending too much on frills? You know, so it's a lot. You know, and running around and then making sure you've got the right people on board, because it's not like I have a whole huge team, you know. For me, I feel like I'm still growing. I know people look and think, Onka Productions, yeah, Onka. I'm still growing, you know, and learning a lot. So yes, it's something very new, you know, yay, yeah.
Well, we can't wait to see the final product. And as you were talking, I was just thinking about over the weekend how, you know, people were debating on social media, you know, about how Zimbabweans, particularly Bulawayo promoters, love to bring, you know, South African acts to Bulawayo to come and sing and perform. And then we get disappointed when they don't come for whatever reason, the likes. How do you think the arts industry is in Bulawayo, and how can we make it better? From your perspective, particularly as someone who's still, I like to say, a newbie in a way, but then you've been there for a while, but I'm sure you have seen, and you also have your own perspective on what you can do to make the arts industry more productive in Bulawayo.
That in itself is a difficult one as well. The way I've gone into the arts, I've told myself I don't want to get stuck in that rut of complaining. I don't want to get stuck in that rut of always, you know, going with the crowd. Now we're complaining about this, now we're complaining about that. There's this and there's that. I try to keep away from that. Because even this whole gatekeeper thing, I don't believe in that. Because, you know, people, and I'll say this, okay, and I've kept away from this conversation, but I'm going to say it today. And I like you. Yeah, you know what? For instance, you look at who raised Donbaya, has done a lot, as have all the other guys. But they're one man. It's one person. There's so much talent in Bulawayo. There's just so much. We can't expect 5 people to accommodate all of us. Hence Onka Productions. Right? Create a platform. If you can, create a platform. I created a platform with nothing. Here I am, I've gotten Umi Metarwan, Lorodo Amo. And Posenti is playing the music. And I'm just Nonkanyiso Mabaleka. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
It's not easy. Maybe that's why there's not that many people that do it, but it's not easy, but it can be done. So we can't expect that these people are going to accommodate whatever, and they're going to, you know, be the people that make EE art boom in Bulawayo. We just all have to play our part and all keep trying to see what can I do differently, right? Promoters, right now, Mina, I'm creating a platform. I'm not going to attack a promoter because I feel his pain. I can't. He's doing it for money or whatever reasons, right? So I'm not going to now turn and say, can the promoter, why didn't you talk to me? Why didn't you bring me on board? Why didn't you? You know, actually right now there's a guy who said, why didn't you bring me on board and say this and that? I said, okay, fine, come and do this. He presented himself. And I was like, wow, that's exactly what I needed. So at times, make yourself available.
Oh, yes, true.
Make yourself available. Show the promoter or whatever, okay, this is what I'm capable of. Because at times, one person, I can't see every single artist and what they're capable of. And you know what? I'm trying to put on a show. Perhaps there's some artist out there thinking, Nonkanyiso Mabaleka, why couldn't she have gotten me? Because I can do what Mimi is doing, you know? So it's difficult. Maybe for the promoter, he's thinking, I'm going to make this much money. And you know what? In Bulawayo, people love amapiano. They love this kind of music. And the guys who are really booming right now and the things that people are playing, it's Uzbanman. So let me bring Uzbanman.
And make my money.
And make my money. When I get artists, you're going to think, but you know what? The guys in UK are doing the same thing.
They really are.
They are doing that. So let's maybe improve our music. And I think we are. I think I saw in these guys, or Zamura is quite happy with the growth. Yeah, music in Bulawayo. So we're doing something. So let's continue with that. Let's grow our art. Let's grow our music. Improve on it. You know, and then see if we maybe do locals on our own platforms.
Absolutely.
Not wait for someone. So let's not keep waiting for that guy because he's making his money. And be mad with him for making his money the way he wants to make his money. And we're saying, okay, but the South Africans are not taking us. South Africans love their own.
Absolutely.
And they have an economy that supports the art. Lapa things are different. So we can't compare ourselves to the environment ngali when our environment is not the same. Absolutely. You know, the leaders ngali, the government ngali, it may be laws and whatnots. They are more conducive.
Yeah, they support the arts essentially.
Yes.
They do support the arts.
Yes, they do.
All right.
Napa is not the same.
It's not the same.
But then again, though, what if I also try and push? Oliver Mtukudzi was in there.
He really was.
He was. So what did Oliver Mtukudzi do that we are not doing that? So maybe let's learn something from there.
All right.
Yeah.
Nonkanyiso Mabaleka. All right, maybe any parting shots to people who are watching who will be keen on coming to the ball as well, and even just words on encouraging ending period poverty, because I'm sure it's something that we're tired of even saying, you know, because, you know, yeah, it cuts deep, you know what I mean? So maybe just parting shots as we end this segment on The Breakfast Club.
I think, look, do come to the show. It is going to be an amazing show. I know the artists are raring to go, you know, so we're going to have dancers. And we do need support. Girls do need the support. Don't just come to the show. If you're able to donate, please go ahead and donate. Any little bit, we put it together, we're helping somebody. You know, we're empowering someone to become who they're supposed to be, not sit at home because they don't have a pad.
Absolutely.
You know, I wish we could go and say, please make pads a little less expensive. So yeah, do come to the show. We'll have Mimi Tarkwana. We've got Rudo Amo, as she's already mentioned. We have Posenti playing the music. I absolutely love Posenti. Okay. And so now the tickets are $30. That includes your meal as well. And you will find your tickets at Hope City Church. Hope City Church is on 5th Street. Okay, just after, opposite, what you call it, after Apple Pharmacy.
Okay.
Right, so that's Hope City Church, and also at the Grand Vista. So you'll get your tickets there, yeah, whatever I missed out. I think, yeah. So venue is at Grand, it's going to be at Grand Vista, 5 o'clock. Look nice, dress African, look nice, look formal. We're celebrating our Africanness. So yeah, and there's going to be cameras, there's going to be a red carpet. So come red carpet ready. And of course, ready to dance the night away. Yeah.
Nonkanyiso, thank you so much for coming through the Breakfast Club. We absolutely appreciate you, and we hope you continue to aim and reach for the stars, and that a lot of people be inspired by this conversation that we had today. For you guys at home, thank you so much for joining myself, Fungai, on the Breakfast Club. Make sure you join us again tomorrow, same time, right here on site. Good morning.
Midnight caller, don't know what kind of girl you thought you'd seen. Midnight caller, clearly you don't care to look that deep. Midnight caller, if you'd only let me get some sleep, oh, I'll teach you a thing or two in tomorrow when your lust fades.